millenniumentertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Sunday. Yes, we're here again. This is Money Talks. I am your host, Cynthia Abbott on Millennium TV 24. Thank you for tuning in again. I'm always excited. I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for all your support. Today, I want to talk about retirement. Now, most of you work because one day you want to retire, right? You want to be able to ride off into the sunset and not have to worry about how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to keep up with the inflation, how you're going to be able to take care of your daily needs. Is that right? Is that why most of you work, so you can retire one day? Well, you know what? I have this conversation on a daily basis with individuals about retirement. Because here's the key. Most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. So when I have this conversation, most people are saying, well, retirement is when I reach age 65, 67, 70 years old. Retirement to most people is an age. But you know what I educate my clients about? What retirement really is? It's not an age. It's the amount of money that you need so that one day you will never have to work for a paycheck. If you enjoy what you're doing and you're so passionate about what you're doing, why would you look forward to retirement? You wouldn't look forward to having not to work. You would look forward to, if you continue to work, you would not need that money in order to survive. Now that's retirement. The amount of money that you need so you never have to work for a paycheck. You never have to worry about paying your bills. You never have to worry about getting a credit card, taking a loan. That is retirement. So you can retire at any age if you understand how to make money work for you. So let's have this talk, because almost 70% of Americans think they won't have enough money to retire comfortably. So if you don't think money matters, think again. It does. Because people are working towards retirement. Meaning they want to be able to live comfortably. It is the top financial concerns impacting Americans today who are planning for their financial future. Whether it's the rising cost of living, economic turndowns affecting their current savings, or the risk of outliving what money they have saved. Because sometimes people have saved, they've saved for retirement, but there's just not enough because people are living longer. Wouldn't you agree? They are preparing for retirement. And it's the main reason why half of American adults lose sleep. They lose sleep because there's not enough money coming in. There's not enough money being saved for retirement. And here's what's going on. 1 in 4 Americans have no retirement savings at all. I'm not making these numbers up. Numbers don't lie. More than half don't know how much they will need to save in order to retire comfortably. That's a major problem. And the majority of workers say they can't save enough for retirement because of debt. And then if 74% of workers are saying they're living paycheck to paycheck. So it does make sense that majority of workers say they can't save enough for retirement because of debt, because the paycheck is not enough. Again, if you love what you do, you would not be thinking about retirement from your job. You would continue working for as long as you want, as long as you don't need that paycheck. 1 in 3 workers say the COVID-19 pandemic has negatively affected their ability to save for retirement. These are serious issues. And there are 2 main reasons why some of these issues continue on. One of them is the procrastination. Now, the longer you wait to save for retirement, the less money you will have when you retire. Does that make sense? And some people just don't know where to start. They don't know who to talk to, who to get the proper guidance from. They're talking to their co-workers, their colleagues, their family members, their neighbors. But take a look at those people and see if they're doing what's required to live comfortably in retirement. So be careful who you're taking your advice from when it comes to your retirement planning. Here's what I want you to know before you retire. So at what age do you want to retire? Because remember I said retirement is not an age, it's the amount of money you have. But then think about what age you want to retire so that you will have that freedom to not have to work for a paycheck. Doesn't have to be 67. You can retire at 30 years old, 23, 25, 35. At any age you can retire as long as you have financial independence. How much savings do you think you will need? So remember, having that plan is key. Have you considered all of this? And what ifs? What if you don't consider all of this? There are risks. Let's talk about longevity risk because, with modern medicine and, people eating right and taking better care of themselves, people are living longer, much longer than before. Longevity risk. So an average male lives to 65, can expect to live to age 83. And an average woman can expect to live to 85. About 1 out of every 3 65-year-olds who live past 65 today will live until at least age 90. That's great. And 1 out of 7 will live until at least age 95. So can your money, your savings for retirement last until that? That's the key. How long will you live and how long will your money last during your lifetime? The other thing you might want to consider as far as before you retire is market risk. Because once you retire, you should continue to diversify your portfolio. You can invest after retirement, but you need to diversify different in retirement, right? Just as you would while you were still working. The fact is, no one can be sure whether he or she will retire in a bull market when the stock market is high or in a bear market when the stock has gone down. One of the most important strategies for achieving your long-term investment goals is diversification. diversifying your portfolio, spreading investment dollars across different types of funds based on your goals, your needs, and your risk tolerance, right? You have to know your risk tolerance is important. So this will help you to reduce the risk, and it can work to increase returns by offsetting losses in one asset class with another, increase opportunities for gain in another. Diversification does not ensure profit or doesn't protect against loss. In a bull market, is prolonged period in which investment prices rise faster than their historical averages. Bull market can happen as a result of an economic recovery, an economic boom, or investors' psychology. You know, the herd theory, following the herd. In the bear market, is prolonged period in which investment prices fall and is accompanied by widespread pessimism. Bear market usually occurs when the economy is in a recession and unemployment is at a high, or when inflation is rising quickly. So understanding the market risk during your retirement or before your retirement is key, because now we have the Great Resignation. So this is one of the reasons why we're having more people retiring at a higher rate now than ever before, because people are now saying, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait for my retirement. I want out now. They want out now because they don't want to be in the workspace anymore, not because of retirement age that they think they have reached, or they just don't love or care about what they do anymore. They don't want to do it anymore, so they decided they want to retire. So we have more people now retiring earlier than ever. But you have to consider these things before you retire. You have to also consider inflation. You have to understand how inflation works. Inflation is a rise in general levels of prices over time, which can erode your money's purchasing power. Because if you have, let's say you have a 3% inflation every year, are you hedging against that 3%? If you're not hedging and having your money diversified in the right portfolio, or having your money working in the right financial vehicles for you to hedge against that inflation, then your purchasing power will decrease. It also refers to the rise in the market of a specific set of goods or services. For instance, the average price of first-class U.S. stamp back in 1991 was 29 cents. USPS.com, that was where that survey was conducted. That information was obtained. Today, a stamp will cost you more than double that price. So inflation is a risk for everyone, and everyone faces inflation. You have no control of inflation, but you have control of making your money work for you and putting it in the right places. So when you do decide that you want to retire, you want to ride off into the sunset, that you have your money working for you. So you don't have to go back to work. Because the bottom line is, while longevity, right, the market and inflation are somewhat out of your control, it is important to be aware of and prepare for those types of risk. Now that you've learned a bit more about what you can't control, how about we talk about what you can control? There are some things that you can control. So let's talk about that. You can control lifestyle, right? You can control estimated sources of income. And you can control your expenses at retirement. The key is to make that plan, put things in place so that you can be in control of your retirement whenever you decide to call it quits. You can actually control how much money you will need, how much you will have. You can control that by putting the plan, sitting down with a financial advisor who cares about you, right? Not about their pocket, just cares about you, your family, your future, your financial health. And put that plan in place so that you can retire comfortably, because you can. You do have control. You just need the right information, the right guidance. And I am here to bring you solutions, not just to talk about the problems, because there are potential income sources that can help you to make sure that you retire comfortably, that you don't have to worry about when you're going to retire, or if you do decide to retire at a certain age, you don't have to worry about
Millennium
finding a
TV,
part-time
bridging
job.
communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I had to take a quick commercial break, but thank you for hanging in there. Let's continue talking about retirement. And what is retirement? Planning that retirement, making sure that your money's working for you. The United States is experiencing right now the greatest retirement surge in its history, with more baby boomers retiring in 2020 than in any year prior. But here are some common situations that you may want to consider before entering your golden years, those years when you ride off into the sunset. You might want to consider these different aspects of understanding healthcare costs, understanding inflation, understanding how you may outlive your nest egg. Because did you know, and this was a survey done by PlanSponsor.com. Did you know that the Social Security Administration estimated in 2020 that its trust fund could become depleted by 2035? Did you know that? At the same time, confidence amongst workers that Social Security will continue to provide benefits equal to those today is at an all-time high. It's important to know that you are in control of your retirement. Social Security is not in control of your retirement. You're in control of it. So are you ready? Understand it, right? Because if you're underestimating the healthcare cost, here's what happened. Medical care costs is what people don't understand, that medical care costs have risen drastically over the past decade. The cost of healthcare in retirement has gone up 30% in the last 10 years and 88% since 2002. According to a recent analyst, the same study found it will take $300,000 to cover most medical care for one couple entering retirement today. $300,000 to cover the cost of medical care for one couple who are entering retirement today. So 45% of retirees say they are only somewhat confident about having enough money to take care of medical expenses during retirement. It may be prudent to re-examine your financial plan. And in re-examining that financial plan, sit down with a financial professional. Please don't utilize your neighbors. Unless your neighbor is a financial planner or a financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning. It is so key to understand that when someone specializes in a certain area, just like you see a doctor for medical doctor, general practitioner, he may recommend, depending on your symptoms or severity of your symptoms, to see a specialist. So think of your retirement planning the same way. A specialist who focuses on helping one to get to their retirement. Okay? To get there smoothly. All right? Thinking about another thing that we have to be concerned with. Inflation is at a high, right? We have no control of it, but everyday expenses, right? How inflation affects your spending should be a prime concern in retirement. The government uses inflation as a benchmark for deciding when to increase contribution limits to retirement plans or when to raise Social Security benefits. Did you know that? It's important to know that because historically the United States have set that rate at a 3% since 1913. Guys, 1913 is now 2021. Factor your spending patterns into your retirement plans, along with your annual 3% inflation adjustment. The increasing cost of everyday expenses, from a gallon of milk, right? We talked about that last week, gallon of milk, right? To a tank of gas. I mean, the prices have increased drastically. That can wreak havoc on your fixed income. Because if those prices are going up and you're on a fixed income, what happens? Now, you find that some people go back to work, find another job, working part-time, just to offset those increases. So it's important to know when you're planning that retirement that you calculate in that 3% inflation cost. Planning also includes outliving your nest egg. You need to understand that that's part of the plan for retirement. Living longer means running the risk of outliving your retirement savings. In the United States, the average male, again, who lives to be 65, can expect to live to about 83. So you have to calculate those years into the amount of money that you will have when you retire to see if it will last you that long. And again, the average woman who lives to age 65 can expect to live to age 85. Moreover, 1 out of every 3 65-year-olds today will live again until age 90. So it's very important to know what your expected sources of income will be versus what your actual sources of income will be during retirement. The key, again, is to have a plan. Make sure you understand where you want to be, how you're going to get there. Do you have enough to get there before you make that plan to retire? Because People expect that Social Security will be there, right? But we've already talked about the expected date of when Social Security may no longer be there. 2035. So if people are expecting that Social Security benefits will be there, and about 87% of Americans are expecting that Social Security benefits will be there, right? That's the expected. Workplace defined contribution plan, 83% expect that that will be there for retirement. Personal savings, 76% of people expect personal savings will help them during retirement. An individual retirement account, IRA, 73% expect that will be there during retirement. And work for pay, 68%. But let's talk about what the top 5 actual sources of income. 92% Social Security. Personal savings is only 66%. Defined benefit pension plan, 58%. Individual retirement account, the IRA, 55%. Workplace defined contribution plan, 46%. So when you check out these breakdowns, right, of pre-retirees' expected sources of income in retirement versus retirement reality, you see that there is something that's missing. The plan is missing, where people don't understand what they will need, how much they will need, their spending habits. They're not calculating the debt, like, will you still have a mortgage? That's key. It's really important to know that when you retire, you will no longer have a mortgage if you own a house. You have to look at the long-term financial goals. Again, the healthcare cost. And you have to make sure that all of your debt that you will have during retirement is going to be able to be eliminated, or you can pay them off with that income that's coming in. Because if you become sick, you need to know that the 20%, in the event you don't have, you have Medicare, but you don't have a secondary health care coverage, you have to know that if you don't have that, it's going to cost you. Again, the survey found that it will take over $300,000 to cover the cost of medical expenses. So is that calculated into your plan for retirement? So I am not just saying that you have to have these things in place. I am saying that when you have these things in place and you put a plan together, it just gives you a better insight as to whether or not you're ready for retirement and what it will look like, because it's not, the years are not promised, but what if? Because the longer you live, the more money you will need in order to be able to live comfortably. The probability of meeting your needs it varies. It varies because you may want to have a withdrawal plan, or you may want to have a plan where you be able to continue to save and earn money on that plan so that you can have that income to offset some of your debt. Right? So again, you need to sit down with a professional, not your neighbor, not your coworker, who is not a financial expert, to understand your retirement needs, to understand how you're going to be able to make sure you live comfortably, making sure that you make the most of your money. You have to create a spending account, right? Because your spending account now will have things like your everyday costs, your utilities, your gas, your housing costs, any debt that you have, right? So that spending account, what does it look like? How much is there? How long will it last? You have to think about your emergency savings account. when emergencies happen, pandemics, epidemics, right? Your rainy day, your rainy month, or your rainy year. You have to make sure you safeguard your money. Do you have that emergency fund established for that rainy day? The general rule of thumb is to have at least 6 months, right? But now we're saying up to 6 months to a year worth of money saved in like a money market fund or savings account, so that the money is easily accessible for unexpected emergencies or expenses, because situations does happen. Take advantage of those tax-free assets. Take advantage of them, because at retirement, you don't know what your tax rate will be. So take advantage of them, because tax-free assets such as a Roth IRA or a Roth qualified retirement plan and a tax-free savings account, you can spend, you would spend less. If you have these accounts in place, they could continue to grow tax-free for as long as possible, because there is no set date or age for you to take that money in those tax-free saving plans. Typically, these assets are withdrawn, always typically tax-free. So how can you take advantage of those tax-free assets? Talk with a professional, not your neighbor, not your coworker, not your family member. Talk with a professional so you can get the proper advice. It's important to make sure that your bottom line is protected. Because if your bottom line is not protected, all and everything can fall apart, especially with one emergency that can last so long. I'll be taking a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back. Let's wrap up, guys, as we talk about planning for retirement, right? We all have to think about that time, that age, that date, whenever you want to call it quits. Or if you don't want to call it quits because you're so passionate about what you do, you continue doing what you're doing, but never have to worry about a paycheck. Make sense? So if you have delayed, you have no retirement savings right now, there are 3 ways to start. So have you delayed saving for retirement? If you're one of the 42% of Americans aged 18 years old to 29 years old who said that they haven't started saving, the longer you wait, the more it will cost you. There is a high cost of waiting. You're leaving money on the table. But if you're one of the 13% over the age of 60 who have nothing saved just yet, the time to act is now. Take action. Here are 3 ways to start. Number 1, create a plan for your future. No, I've been saying that word over and over, and I'm like, yes, Cynthia is saying the plan word again, because most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. Create a plan, set a target date, and determine what you need to do to get there. Be realistic and establish achievable goals. So if you haven't started, get a plan. Sit down with someone who have the information that can assist you with putting that plan in place. Because what happens if you don't have the plan? Bad things happen. And we don't want devastation happening. We want you to be okay. You can be okay. You can actually get started. It's okay that you didn't start. Let's get started. That's the hardest part, isn't it? And you're never too young to get started. You're 18 years old. Start planning for retirement. Open up a retirement account. That's number 2. Aside from an emergency account and a short-term savings account, opening up a wealth building account is the best to safeguard paying for your future. Have you ever heard the term pay yourself first? If you haven't started, it's time. A 401k is a good place to start if your employer offers one of the matches, your contribution. Alternatively, an IRA is a great way to save for retirement, because most people don't know that an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, that you can plan your own pension, your own retirement. So just because your job doesn't have a 401k, you can plan your 401k. It can be deducted from your checking account, just like your job would deduct it from your paycheck. So put a plan in place. You can start. You can take control. The time to start is now. Start contributing. Number 3, begin contributing money into your retirement savings account as soon as you can. Now. Start now. And contribute as much as you can spare. Hey, some people have $25, some have $50, some have more. But start somewhere. Remember, the earlier you start saving, the more time that money has to grow for you. So making sure that, again, you're sitting down with a professional to get these plans in place and not just talking to your next door neighbor. So here's what happened when you plan. You are able to now put yourself on the right pathway to financial success. Now you're going to pay more attention to your spending habits, because you know you can literally free up $25 to $50 per month. If you look at your spending habits, you're spending between $25 and $50 on things that are not necessary, not helping you in any which way, form to get to your retirement or your financial freedom. You can save $25 to $50. You can do it. Stop buying that Starbucks coffee, because theirs is very expensive. Free up that money so that you can make that money work for you. Okay? And make sure that you stop hiding your debt from your love, from your spouse, your significant other. Talk about it. It's not taboo. You can actually get a plan in place for both you and your spouse separately. Doesn't have to be together. You can put a plan in place so you guys can be able to talk freely about what you're going to do when you retire, and talk about what you want to accomplish after retirement. Is it that you want to spend more time with families? You want to travel? You want to be able to learn a new skill, play a certain sport, whatever that is. It's time to talk about it. It's time to put your plan in place. It's time to take action to fix it, because we are going through a financial turmoil, but it doesn't mean that you can't still focus on your plan. Do not get distracted because everyone is doing the wrong thing. You don't have to follow the herd. You can do the opposite. Just free up a few dollars once a month. Put yourself on track until you're able to now add more money over the years. You're going to sleep better. You're going to feel better that at least you're doing something about it. Doing nothing about it doesn't get the problem resolved. So let's get your retirement plan in place. Let's get you off to a great start. Because talking about all the problems, we could talk about all the problems all day long. But again, if we don't have those solutions to help you and guide you, to make sure that these things are working for you, if we're not giving you the right information, how do we expect for you to get there, to get to your financial goals, to be able to retire whenever you want, whatever age you want, with the amount of money that you want? You need to know your number. We call it the financial independence number. That's that number that you need to know that you never have to go back to work. And the way to get that number is to sit down with a professional, get a plan in place, get that financial needs analysis done, an assessment of your finances. Look at what date you want to retire from working, if you ever want to retire. But when do you want to be free from having to work for money to pay a bill? When do you want to be free from that? You need to know your freedom number. So my challenge to you is to get your freedom number before the new year 2022 starts. Because I always say, put that plan in place before the new year. Do not wait until January 1st to say, I am going to make my new year resolutions. No. It's time to start now. So when the new year kicks in, you'll feel better knowing that I already have a plan. So what's going to happen because your plan is already in place? You will succeed. Plan ahead. Get it done. Thank you for watching. Please tune in next week, same time, same place. This is Millennium TV 24 in sponsorship with Roku TV, Amazon TV, Apple TV, and all your smart TVs. Please catch us on YouTube. Give us a like. Send us a comment. Feedback. Your feedback is necessary for us to be able to provide you with all the information you need to succeed financially. This is Money Talks. I am your host, Cynthia Abbott. See you next week. Have a safe week. Thank you for all your support.
Millennium TV, bridging